uh, you're gonna practice more on the for loops. Let me introduce you to arrays.
Okay.
Arrays. So arrays are about like when you are working with data of the same data type. Data type we mean int. It can be data type. It can be of int, double, float, or string. So for example, you can use arrays in terms of, let's say you want to record the results of your students. If you are a teacher, then you can use also the array there. If you want to record the results of your students, and then you can also use, there are many ways where you can use arrays as long as they are of the same data type. So let's say, for example, when you declare an array, you will say, if it's like you know that you are going to work with an int, you say int, then the name, you give your array a name. You can say int results. Then you put the brackets. If you know how many students you have, let's say you have 15 students, you can write 15. If you know their results already, or you can enter them there. So when you enter them, if it's maybe the first one get 99, comma, then another one 23, it happens 24, comma. You can write all of them there. Yes. So the problem part, when you're working with arrays, here you see that I'm writing something, let's say until 50. So we have something called an index. An index of an array, it starts reading from 0. So if you have a data like a 15 student, which is going to read from 0 to 14. And then we also have something called elements. Elements of array are going to be your results, like 99, 24. Those are your elements. So the elements, you're gonna be having 15 elements. So now let's say, for example, you are writing a program whereby you want to ask your students to write to input your results, like their results.
Yes.
You can also input your, like you can declare and also an array one by one. So I have my array called int results, and then I'm gonna use small numbers, let's say 5. So in my results here, I can declare, I'm just gonna start with the declaration. My first student get 88, the second one got 45, the third one got 10. It's possible, you know that.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one got 47, and the fifth one got 77. So this is my array. Then I want to access this array. If you say see out like this, results, it won't work. So for arrays to output all those results, I can use a for loop. So I can say for my int maybe xi equals to, because the index of an array starts at 0, this first element is going to be read 0, the second one is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
So which means I'm going to start my index as 0 into my I is less than, I know that, okay, for example, sometimes maybe you can declare this, the number of how many students there as a constant int, int constant. You can say int constant. Let's say maybe you say int constant x, yes, your x, you say, or x just a small letter equals to 0, so equals to 5, then you can come here inside here, you put your x, then you can say while your I is less than x is going to say when it's 5 it will fail, because if it's I is 5 and it's 4, it's gonna say 4 is 4 less than is 5, 4 less than 5 is true, but when I change to 5 it's going to fail. Then you say, okay, my I plus plus, you increment your I. So when you increment your I, you can see out your array. when you see out array, you write the name of your array, and we use I inside because I is going to start at 0.
Okay.
Then it's gonna be incrementing. Remember, I is gonna be incrementing by this statement here. So by that, is gonna, this program that I wrote is going to print the results of those students. So it's telling me that, okay, there is a problem. What is the problem? It says we
You
go
forgot an L.
there, hello, and line.
You forgot an L.
L, yes, true. So now when we print, you will find that it's printing all the arrays of those students. Sometimes you can initialize arrays one by one, which is gonna take time. We can say, okay, I know that I have my array, which is going to be having 5 students. Then imagine writing like this. You see, it's time wasting based according to me. Then you have to put 0 because your first array is gonna start as 0. You say equals to 99. You see. Then again you come, results going like that is time consuming. So but you can do it if you want to do that method. There's nothing wrong with it. Equals to maybe 45 like that, but it's time consuming. What if you have arrays of 100? Yes. Sometimes you can ask a user to input the arrays. You can use the for loop to input the arrays. You just have to change this statement here to use a cin. You just say results, then you put I. Do you see that? So now when you using this cin here, the way I'm showing you, why is it important for arrays? In a reality, let me show you in a reality. In reality, where if you are working whenever you are working, for example, where I work, I have an input. I have an input. My input, I also have an output. Output. Yeah. So my input and output, they are named based on the method of array. They start at 0. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, depending on the device that I'm working. My output also, they start at 0. So I can access all those output. I can write a very small program. Let's say I want to, the output there, I want to light all my output. Then if I want to light all my output, I can use a for loop. I can say for, just that the way I do it where I work in my workplace is not the same the way we do it here in the practical for university. It's the more the same, but you don't write the for loop like C++. You write it as like a Python. So then you can say for, maybe you know that, okay, my percent Q, you see, percent Q, I bracket with my I. And then after that, for percent Q, I 2, you see, 2, maybe Q, I can use 0. I want to use I will use 0. Let me just say 0, 0. It's gonna be 0, 0. Or just even if you say 0, but sometimes you can bracket, you say 0, 0. There is nothing wrong. It's gonna work. It's just that here, C++. What? 2, 5. Maybe I have 7 out input, 6. Let's say I have 6 input. See, then what must happen in this for loop? Then I want to print. I want maybe for output 1 to work. Until all of them. I can just say, or I want to light them. I can just write maybe a statement that, okay, a bool, I make it to be assigned the value true. Then all my light, they will work if I'm working with a program of a light. Okay. Then I must end my what? I will end my for loop to end if and for. Just that here it won't show those colors because it does not know some of what we are doing. But this is the same. This method you are using, you are still going to use it in any programming in real life. Okay. You get it. So now you can also ask a user to enter those variables like the inputs. Let's run our program is fine. If you ask, you can see if I enter 22, you see, we will want to